I'll let you guys know. We took that thumbnail. How many times was that?
6.
6 times?
You
So
liked it.
I hope it's great.
I hope I don't look as crazy for you guys as I do.
No, what we see is not what they see. This is like an unedited. Yeah, and the computer takes it and does cool stuff to it. It makes us look really good.
Here.
And then they see it.
Woo!
What's going on, Life in the Bus? Ben and Gabby. What's going on, Josh?
Hello.
Hello, hello. Thanks for the 2 upvotes already.
We are 50 minutes late today because we just had some beers down by the creek with my mom and my stepdad, Steve. So, hey, everyone. We have 18 people here already.
Wow.
Blessed be. Thank you for being here, guys.
You guys have nothing to do on Sunday night, I guess. That's awesome.
We're cool, babe. Hello, Dell, Nomadic Bike, Matt, Heat Seeker Bus, Ed, Oshkosh, Josh, Miguel.
Not drunk. Getting there, so who knows?
This beer that they bought us is actually really cool. It's a local beer slash kombucha.
It's backwards.
Okay. Slash kombucha blend. So it's actually made in Arvada, Colorado, and it like gives you probiotics with it. Yes. We both were working really hard today, so we're just a little flirked out, but we wanted to get in here and chat with you guys.
Jumping from stream to stream, says the Heat Seeker Bus. I like your clever punnage, as I am a huge fan of dad jokes.
How's work going? Work is going really well. I worked a 9.5-hour shift today that went really well, and we're really super grateful for this job.
She's being modest. Plus, she's afraid other people from work are watching. But she's sold more than anybody else in the entire place today. And she kills it. She does an awesome job. She's employee of the month there. And she got me a job there. That's how good she is. She's only worked there for a month, and she was like, "You should hire my husband too." And they're like, "Yeah, sure. If you married him, I'm sure he's awesome." And now I work there. And I just finished training, and we're about to put a video out. Hopefully tonight, depending on how long this goes. But I've been working on this video all day. It's just kind of like a new day in our life. Like we keep doing these updated day in our life videos because our life changes so often that we need to update them. So it's just kind of like now our current day in our life where we're both working, parking right outside of our job, saving mad money. Yeah.
Yeah, guys, we're working really hard. And I'm sure you guys are working really hard too in whatever you're doing. But this is, I think, the interesting perspective that we're learning right now about this job is that, you know, we've been working hard on Living Zeal for the past year, but we've also been like enjoying ourselves a lot and going back to this job and like working so hard day in and day out, like coming home and being exhausted by the time your head hits the pillow reminds us of the same effort and energy we want to put into Living Zeal once we're doing Living Zeal full time again.
There's like, when we started this whole Living Zeal thing, I was 100% like towing the, if you do what you love, you'll never work a day in your life. And that's like true to a certain extent, I realized. Yeah. Because what happens is if you do what you love, which is Living Zeal, and we do what we love, and it's awesome. If you do it to a point where like West Coast Wandering is a good example, where we did it every day and we're forcing ourselves to do it even when we didn't have content and stuff, it becomes... It's not something you like anymore. It becomes cumbersome, and that's when it becomes a job. Yeah. So it's like finding that balance, which is where we are right now, and that's kind of why we haven't been putting out a ton of videos, is because we just don't really have the content right now, because our life has shifted in another direction. But temporarily, because you guys just wait. It's going to be so awesome. We have some sick stuff planned. We are so full of zeal for the future. It's crazy. Sick stuff that you guys don't even know about, and you guys do know about Hawaii. So just imagine. I'll give you a hint. Hi, Danny. I'm going to give you a hint. We're ditching the bus for a little while. What? Crazy. What? Moving out of the bus for a couple weeks. We'll get into that later. Just for a couple weeks. Then we'll be back to it. Hi, Gil. Hi, Dan. That's so sweet, Sarah. Thanks for being here. Hi, Melody. Hello, hello. Zaina? Oh, Ben's wife's name is Gabby. If you don't watch Life in a Bus, go over to Life in a Bus and watch Ben and Gabby build their bus, because it's going to be way cooler than ours when they're done. And I really want to see their journey. Yeah, they raised the roof. They're going all out. It's going to be really sick. Hi, Ben and Stacy. What should we chat about today, guys? We were I mean, what's relevant for us is kind of like getting back on the grind. We're living in a bus and working 2 full-time jobs it's no joke, guys. I wouldn't want to do it for years. Yeah, and trying to keep Living Zeal going, which this is kind of the most we've done for Living Zeal for this week because we've been so exhausted. I guess that's not true. The past couple of days we've been building a vlog that's going to be really cool. I'm going to be putting it out here tonight or tomorrow morning, hopefully tonight.
I want to read Zach's comment because it put a huge smile on my face. You guys are awesome. I've been watching your videos for a couple days now, like all day, LOL. I'm going to buy a bus. I want to buy the long one, but I want to travel to Alaska from Missouri.
That'll be
so
awesome.
Awesome.
Alaska must be filling up with conversions because that's like the spot to go. And I understand why. If you can get there from here, absolutely.
Zach, I'm sure you already know about the nomadic movement, but if you don't, go head over to their YouTube channel because they live in a short school bus and they're in Alaska right now. And they've been making some really beautiful videos of the content in Alaska.
Yeah.
I really want to go
his
there.
Drone?
It actually was never broken.
It was okay after landing in the water?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Hi, Ashley. Nice to see ya. Yeah, we are here.
We're here.
And we're
going to be here every week. No matter what happens with our craziness, we'll be here for you guys every week.
Don't worry, Deirdre. We're going to be doing the Hawaii bus life content. So we're going to be, I don't know if that's original, but semi-original.
Deirdre Snow says everyone's doing Alaska videos right now. It's getting a little redundant. You know, I kind of feel the same way, to be honest with you. Alaska's beautiful.
More people doing Alaska videos.
I mean, that's where Expedition Happiness kind of started, didn't they?
Yep, kind of.
Didn't they start in Alaska?
They went from New York.
I feel like I see Alaska on Instagram a lot because why not? It's absolutely gorgeous. And I feel the same way. It's like I either just need to go there or maybe it's the same way with New Zealand, that it's kind of overexposed now. Everyone wants to go to New Zealand and everyone wants to go to Alaska. Everyone wants to go to Hawaii.
To me, I'm just one of those people that I love to see that sort of content in videos, but I know that there's no way to capture the beauty of that in photography or in videography. So I am so excited to see that for myself.
It's funny for us to watch Living Zeal unfold with our experiences. It grows with our experiences. We're seeing more and more beautiful stuff as we're prepared to document the beautiful stuff. I'm glad we didn't just take the trip out west immediately. We actually took 8 or 9 months of living in the bus before we went out west. And because of that, I think we did a much better job documenting it.
Yeah.
And now we're going to go out east and the documentation is going to be awesome. And then by the time we go to Hawaii, the video quality and everything is just going to be on point. So yeah. After that, I mean, it's awesome letting the surroundings grow with you.
Definitely.
You want to read some comments? I can see it in your face.
Gosh, you know me so well. Janice, that's exactly right. People are in Alaska right now because now's there's a very short window to be in Alaska. I'm sure you guys can hear all that. There's a very short time to be in Alaska, and now's that time. Fueled by Green, have you guys seen the newer nomadic movement or the schoolies videos at all lately? I have been working the past 4 days, so I haven't really watched any YouTube videos, but I'm off on Tuesday, so I'm probably going to binge a couple of my favorite channels and see what they're up to. The last nomadic one I saw was the video after their drone falling in the lake. So I don't know when that's.
Let's get rid of that.
Hi, David. Oh, we can shut that. Sorry.
Yeah, hello, I'm behind on all the videos. Just from work, it's so hard to try to balance everything. Hello from Texas.
So I watched a live stream from, I don't know, a few weeks ago or whatever, and you said something about eating mostly local produce. What's more local there rather than here, if that makes sense? So peaches, Colorado peaches are in season right now from Palisade. They're just wondering what kind of local stuff we're eating here, I believe is what you're asking. But yeah, peaches, and honestly,
you can follow the way we do it really is if you go to Sprouts. Sprouts is a grocery store here in Colorado that
talked about a lot.
Yeah, in the next video we'll talk about them a lot too. Mm-hmm. They get together with local farmers markets and sell the farmers' produce in their big grocery store for much cheaper. And you can literally just follow their flyer, and what's on sale is what's in season. I mean, you can really just look at it like that. If it's cheap, then you know it's going to be in season. So they run incredible sales on stuff that is heavily in season.
And
They're about to go out of season.
There's a very strong degree to which, like, we don't just eat local produce. There's a lot of produce that is in season in Mexico in particular that is, being shipped to Colorado.
Coconut oil, stuff that you obviously can't get locally. Coconuts are clearly outsourced. There's stuff that we use we love mangoes, and you can't grow mangoes in Colorado.
But yeah, to us, it's more about like, we love to go the local route whenever possible. And more than that, we love to go the in-season route. So, we love asparagus and artichokes, whatever. But if it's not in season, we're not going to spend the extra $2 for it. We'll wait a couple months. You know what I mean?
There are stuff we will spend the extra money for, though. There are those foods like avocados. We'll always spend money on avocados.
It's true.
We'll always spend money on asparagus, broccoli, kind of our main go-tos.
Not asparagus, because asparagus gets
really expensive. That's true. I like to get the $1.99 asparagus. It's like super thick.
Anyway. Okay. So,
we have a micro journey. Zach Osborne, I was just reading your comment. I'm glad you guys are both working to achieve your goal to go to Hawaii. I'm excited to watch your guys' journey. Yeah, we have a little micro journey becoming before Hawaii, like a little amuse-bouche. We're very excited for.
We are.
I think right now we're more excited for that than we are Hawaii because it's closer and we know that it's going to be a lot of fun and it's going to be a sort of a send-off. We need to say goodbye to a lot of our family and a lot of people out.
Yeah. Because we don't know how long we're going to be in Hawaii, Like, of course, we can always hop on a plane and come back and visit. But to us, we are going to be moving to Hawaii for a little while, We probably won't be back for a year or two. Who knows?
At least. I mean, when we tell people we're moving, they're like, oh my gosh, everyone thinks permanent. And it's like, nothing's really permanent.
Yeah.
Like, we want to move all over the place, but we also want to.
We're also spending, we're making an investment to move to Hawaii. Obviously, you don't just move to Hawaii on a whim. So we know that we're probably going to be there for a while, but who knows?
I mean, when you think about it, people fly to Hawaii and spend all the money on the hotel, and they probably spend about the same amount to have a 2 or 3 week vacation in Hawaii that we're spending to ship our bus out there and live there.
Yeah, for a family or something.
Yeah. I mean, not even for a honeymoon. I know honeymoon packages in Hawaii run $4,000 to $7,000 starting for a week. It's kind of crazy to stay in a hotel and spend $7,000. Our bus is only going to cost $3,000.
Yeah, that's true. I heard you guys. Absolutely, we love you, Life in a Bus. My friends are awaiting a hurricane in Hawaii. I haven't even heard about that. I've been so not doing anything except for waking up and going to work the past couple days. Bye, Del. See you later. Steve Green. Hi, guys. I bought a bus and your books and your books have been a great resource and inspiration. It's a slow grind balancing work and the build. Thanks for your dedication to this lifestyle. Absolutely.
Thank you.
The interesting thing that we have really had to reflect upon, the interesting thing that we've really had to reflect upon a lot in the past week is when we first went into Living Zeal, we had this really strong, maybe even prideful mentality of you shouldn't trade your time for money for anything kind of thing. You know what I mean? You shouldn't.
Almost just stubborn. I mean, I was talking to Eric in his basement not that long ago, and he kind of brought it to my attention. He was like, I love what you guys are doing now. When you first started, it was kind of obnoxious a little bit. And I realized, I thought about it, and I was like, we were, I guess, kind of obnoxious because we were kind of just jump off the cliff, throw all your caution into the wind. You need to do all this and say, you're trading your time for money that's evil and all this stuff. But I think that there's a lot of gray area in what we were saying that we didn't realize at the time. And that's what wisdom really is kind of learning the steps and learning, I wasn't. Only 6 months ago, I would consider myself to be half as wise as I am now in this aspect.
Well, and I also think there's that split of what we're learning now of okay, so we're trading. Thank you so much, 515016. You made it this time. Thanks for being here. We really appreciate that.
That's awesome.
But I think something we've been learning a lot lately is what would we rather? Would we rather have all of our time and no money and having to stress a lot about finances and having to be so frugal. Like on our West Coast wandering trip, we did all that whole trip with $1,700. I mean, that was everything for that trip. And there were a lot of times where I was the navigator, so we couldn't go to certain locations because I was like, we are not backtracking to go to a spot. Like, we are working on such a small budget. It gave me so much stress and anxiety trying to work within such a fine budget. So I'm very excited that we're saving this money now because I know how much this lifestyle costs and it's not that much. And I know we're going to have a lot of security around knowing like, hey, if anything happens, we have money put away to deal with it. And also while we're traveling, we don't have to worry so much. We can travel a little bit more free-spirited, which I think will make for better content for you guys.
You guys are going to see a lot more.
Because our money isn't going to be like so tight. But that goes back to just to end this thought, what we learned in the beginning, which was, yeah, you can go balls to the walls and go for your dream, but also there's something to be said for being a little bit more methodical and planning out your next big move rather than just like, hey, I'm jumping.
Exactly. Like, I want to do a soul chat about, people say like money can't buy happiness, and obviously that's true. But at the same time, it's like when you're completely broke, you're pretty sad.
Yeah.
So if you had money when you're completely broke, you're going to be happy. It's kind of like, obviously there's any way you can spin it. But what I've realized really is in order to have happiness, you have to have security.
Yeah.
And in order to have security, you have to have an income. And, we're not going to say we were ambitious with what we thought Living Seal was going to take off to.
Oh, we were.
But we were. And honestly, to be frank with you guys, when we first started, we sold a lot of books. We sold a lot more books. Like we sold like $300 worth of books in our first month.
Mm-hmm.
So we thought like if we write more books and get more subscribers, we're going to sell a lot more. And we sell like one a week now. It's kind of crazy. But we really thought then when we were starting, like, oh, wow, we released this one book and made $350 in 1 month. Now it's just the sky's the limit, but that was actually the peak. And there's something to learn in that, too. And that is sort of in every moment, you need to realize that in this industry of online, it's completely in what's the word I'm looking for? Has no, like, you have no idea what's going to happen in the world of YouTube. So there's absolutely no security. And getting this job has made us just so much happier in our life, just walking around, living in general, because we know we have that buffer of security.
Yeah, and I think there's something to be said for that. It's not about, you got there. It's not about money as a thing in and of itself. It's about sort of that dealing with Maslow's hierarchy of needs. If you guys have heard of what that is in like a psychology class or something, that having, your basic needs covered gives you so much more security and comfort as a human and allows you to go forth with life better because you're not stressed about making sure your basic needs are covered. And we're so grateful to this restaurant. If you guys are ever in Boulder, come to the Buff because chances are one of us will be working there. We're not going to be there forever, but every day that we are there, we are just soaking it up because the people are great, and we're just super grateful for this job.
Yeah, we really are. Honestly, we wouldn't be able to do it without them, and it's such a godsend. So
it was all meant to be. So I guess the message
I cut it myself. She didn't even notice.
The message. You got a haircut?
I cut it myself the other day, just a little bit.
Oh, I didn't notice.
On the front, because the front was really, really long.
I think it looks great.
No, I didn't get a haircut. Well, sort of.
I guess the message I was just going to end that off with to you guys is don't be afraid to make a big move, but also don't be afraid to plan it out ahead of time. Thank you so much, David.
Good to see you flirt. Love it. You guys, I hope you use that in your daily vernacular. Flirt. Because I think we overuse it at this point.
Thank you so much, David. Ashley said we are always growing and getting better. The best part is we can change our mind, and there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, it's a very beautiful thing. Yeah, exactly.
If we aim to be one thing, we just hope we're always relatable. We never want to be like head in the clouds, sort of out of touch, We see a lot of vloggers that attain success, whatever that actually is on YouTube. We've realized that we have no idea. And then sort of lose what they are, and we really aim to never do that. So thank you. That means a lot.
Really. It does. Brian, interesting. Maybe shoot us an email at livingzealcontact@gmail.com. We would love to hear more about how you can help us with our suspension. Exploring multiple streams of income. That's definitely the way to go. I don't know if any of you guys watch Eamon and Beck's channel. We are huge proponents of them. We think they're a really awesome couple, and we love what they do on YouTube. But they just started a podcast called Reroute, and Chad has kind of listened to parts of the 2 episodes. We've been distracted when we have been listening to them, so we haven't gotten through them. But I already listened to them once myself, and they're really awesome. And they talked a little bit in their second podcast about creating all of these numerous streams of income and the sort of financial freedom and just well-being that it brings. Because if one thing crashes, you can just start putting more energy into the other things.
Exactly.
You know? Yep. That's another way to get that sort of feeling of comfort, I guess. That you don't have to stress about finances.
Yep, exactly. Trying to get everything really set up with Living Zeal before we head out to Hawaii to have that security, the comfort within Living Zeal.
And before we have kids or...
Yeah, that's what constantly pushes it back, so to speak, is because we need that security before we try to bring someone else in. We got to be fair to another human being.
Exactly.
All right, what do we have here? Comments.
I'm trying to get that glare to go away.
And jewelry. Mike's giving us ideas here.
Time to realign my headspace and see you later. Cool. Yeah, that's the thing, Chef, is kind of being someone who's always willing to be learning. We think it's awesome that we have a lot of people who are, I would say, significantly older than us by 20 plus years or however much. It is so inspiring to have you guys be interested in what we're doing, and it
makes me want to be that kind of person throughout my entire life. My mom is an example to me, and I use her all the time, but she will call me with advice and look at me as not anyone younger than her, not her son. She just sees me as an equal, and she'll lay it out there and literally come to me with advice just like I would come to her with advice. And I think that's really made this whole example for me my entire life. And now I always want to be somebody who never sees people who are younger than me as lesser than me, because in fact our generation, the next generation's going to be smarter than us. They're going to have more access to everything. They're just going to be smarter than us, and the more of us that can accept that and learn from that, the better. And I love that past generations are learning from us, not just saying stupid millennial snowflakes or whatever we're getting called, but instead being open-minded.
Yeah, we always talk about how stoked we are when we finally have a kid, about how smart they're going to be and how they're going to be way, way smarter than we are, and how we look forward to learning from them.
By the way, if you guys are noticing that I look different, I'm noticing a few people in the comments. I got new glasses this week. If you follow us on Instagram, I think we did a little story about that.
I think so.
But I lost them in the creek. I jumped in with my glasses on, and we didn't document it. It was just one random day. And,
and then he had to train with no glasses, which was a hot mess.
I'm blind.
And so, we had to rush and get them on a whim, but I think they're pretty cute.
Yeah.
And that was another great thing. Before we started this job, it would have been real hard to spend the money that we had to spend on these glasses. Because it happened all in this perfect timing, we had the money to be able to get these really awesome glasses and make it happen.
It all works out.
Hello, Nenmit. Hello from India. I love you guys. I just built a 3-story house for me and my parents some time ago. I stumbled across your channel, and now I want to live in a van.
Oh, no.
Well, that's awesome, though. That's so cool that you did that for your family.
That's very cool.
That's amazing.
Your family has a place to live.
Heat Seeker Bus. I plan on living full-time in the bus. Should I rent or sell my house? I can't speak to that. I don't know.
It depends on if you want to be attached in any way. We look forward to, this is just us, but we are probably going to build structures, tiny houses on different places all over the world, hopefully, and rent them out when we're not there, and just like Airbnb them.
As another income stream, I think that if you don't have a real planned out way of how you're going to make money once you move into your bus, then renting out your house is an awesome way to make a monthly income. However, like Chad said, there's maybe the stress and the tied down aspect that comes of having
a landlord.
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I would say start out renting it, see how it goes, and then maybe sell it.
Sell it if you need to. It's always there. And also, I guess it depends on how much you still have, how much equity you have tied up in the house. But that's a whole other thing.
Zach, you guys should document more days at the creek. If you guys go fish at all, that would be something.
That's awesome, because we're worried we're documenting the creek too much. So
we love the creek. We're always there.
We love the creek. We're there all the time. Yeah, we were there today, right before we got here. We were a little late to this. If you didn't make it for the beginning, we were having a couple beers with mom and stepdad.
Michael said that people will destroy your stuff. Yeah, that's kind of the tricky thing. I have no idea because I've never rented anything, but I've heard that that's the issue with renting is that people will abuse
I've lived in a lot of college towns, Boulder, Colorado, and then before this I lived in Arlington, Virginia, and before that it was Winchester, Virginia. I've always lived in a college town, I think. So I've always heard horror stories about people moving out, and like I mentioned in this next video, my best friend Eric is a maintenance guy for like 1,500 buildings here in Boulder, and this is move out month, and he's already told me that it's been pretty crazy.
I'm sure.
So yeah, I'm sure there is a stress that comes with it, but I don't know. I would definitely say try to rent and see if it's your cup of tea.
I agree.
I love flowing water. It's so peaceful, says Zach Osborne.
I know. I feel like it's so healing to just go down to the creek or especially mountain water and just soak it up. It just feels amazing.
It's nice, yeah. We parked right outside of Twin Falls, Idaho, like right outside of the waterfall, like practically inside the park, and the ground was shaking a little bit, and the rumbling just kind of soothes you to sleep.
Exactly.
It was really nice, but it was so also really powerful.
Yeah, exactly. That's the nice thing about the creek because you can go like get in the middle of it. Do you guys plan on ever visiting Canada with the bus? So we probably won't visit Canada in this current bus. That being said, we might visit Canada at some point in like a van conversion. The problem with this particular bus is when I bought it, I was single and I wasn't planning on traveling all over the world or all over the country. Continent really. So I didn't care so much about the certain mechanical issues that were off, like the suspension. But now that we live in this bus and we have traveled to the West Coast, we've done a real long trip like that, and the suspension just makes for a crappy time.
Yeah. First off, bye, Chef. Have a great night. Sorry, Chef was saying bye.
There are also this is a great bus, but there are also some other little issues that it's like we would have to invest a good chunk of money in order to take this bus everywhere. But we will definitely visit Canada someday because I'm very excited to visit Canada. I've never been. The whole
northern route, but we just don't. This bus is going to get retired in Hawaii, whether we buy land in Hawaii because we love it and park the bus on it, or we sell it to somebody who really wants it.
This bus is probably not going to come back to the States unless we're not just going to leave it there. So if somebody doesn't want to buy it from us, or if we don't buy land, then we could always ship it back just as easily probably as we shipped it there, but that's not our plan right now.
Just because I have a feeling the seawater is going to finish off the suspension.
I think so, and just rust and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's what I mean, seawater. The air is going to have more moisture in it, so it's going to rust away the body.
What Hawaiian island are you going to be at, and are you going to be doing the van life or backpack Airbnb thing? So hello, Johnny O Rescue. We are going to be living in this bus in Hawaii. We're shipping this bus to Hawaii from Los Angeles. It's not as expensive as you're probably thinking it is.
$200,000.
Yeah, right.
It's like $3,000.
Yeah. So it's not that expensive, and we can ship it as is for the most part with like our solar and our fridge and all the good stuff. And it only takes up to 2 weeks to get there. So we are planning on working on a farm through the website called Workaway and trading some hours helping on a farm for them allowing us to park there. We're thinking about either Kauai, Maui, or Oahu.
The three main ones other than the Big Island.
Yeah. Our number one that we want to go to is Kauai, but the more we've been doing research this past week, the more we've been learning that
well, we discussed in our last video that we watched this girl, what's her name? Claire Michelle?
Mm-hmm.
Claire Michelle, who lived in Kauai, and the reason she left was because of the racism. And then I started this job, and we met this girl who's born in Maui, and mentioned that there is racism in Kauai more than any other island. So we don't want to go somewhere where we're not welcome. Basically.
Yeah, the thing is there, the local Hawaiians in Kauai are trying to preserve it, and they're trying not to
let it become America.
Yeah.
Which is
understandable.
Totally understandable.
Totally understandable. That's why we want to go there, because we want to be part of the the very small town feel of everything. We don't want to be part of the commercialized island, whatever. But the fact of the matter is we look the way we look, and people might just perceive us from our looks. We've heard of some like violent things happening with local Hawaiians against haoles, which are like white people.
You know what haoles are, I'm sure.
So that's why Maui is another option, because there are a lot, and this sucks
I've also already lived on Maui, and I know that there's really a lot more white people.
That's the thing. It sucks to say that, but yeah, there's no other better way of saying that. It sucks to say. I
mean, I only say it in the way that like we're welcome. Like if we're not welcome by the natives, then I'm gonna not go somewhere with a ton of natives.
But we get it. That's the other thing.
We totally understand, and we're not trying to be those people. That's why we're not trying to go there and build a house. And I think we'll probably say this in every live stream until we finally go there. But we're trying to blaze a trail for people to go, experience, and leave.
And again, we get it. We get where locals feel like they were exploited, taken advantage of. Obviously, we've seen that through history. But our belief, and maybe this is easy to say as privileged white people, is that land does not belong to anyone. And it's just as much our right to experience the land in Hawaii as it is their right to experience the land in Colorado. Maybe that's just like a snowflake millennial thought. But
no, I think people get lost in when you say land. I like to think of it like views.
Yeah.
Like this view doesn't belong to anybody. I'm allowed to stand here and look at this. This is absolutely gorgeous. You can't tell me I have to pay $80 to get in here and look at this. Like this is, the world that we're all born into. We're all part of. Mm-hmm. We were buying minerals last night at Sprouts, thinking about how we are literally part of this earth. Like we're buying zinc and we're buying iron,
B12.
We're buying iron and B12 because we have to have those things inside of us to keep us going, which is kind of crazy. We're just ranting. Wow, we're not even answering questions. See you later, Fueled by Green.
How are you staying cool when it's super hot outside? Building a mini school bus in Houston. Oh, and how many batteries do you have? From Ashley Butler. We have 3 batteries. Only 2 of them are hooked up because the cells are shot basically in one of them.
But that's not really what matters. It's the size of the battery. They're 12 volts and 125 amp hours each. So we have 250 amp hours at 12 volts. Which isn't a lot, but we conserve our power really well.
And how are we staying cool? Honestly, June was the worst month, and we used our swamp cooler, which only uses
250 to a max
watts. So we could use that when it was blazing during the day because we were getting tons of direct sunlight, and we could run it during the heat of the day. We've also tried, we have 2 small Ryobi fans that are battery powered. We've tried getting like blocks of ice and blowing that cool air, and that worked pretty well.
It's just so much hassle. The blocks of ice thing. It's like,
it's tough. Honestly, I don't think that we've solved it for the winter or for the middle of summer, like how to be comfortable in the bus.
That's why I think we're also looking forward to Hawaii more than anything. Is we're just going to be park it up and open it, put some screens in the windows, and more live outside in medium temperatures. It's always like 75 degrees there.
Have you or can you pan for gold in those creeks? I'm sure you could. I know that there are people that do. Oh, my mom's on. What up?
Wow, you made it home pretty quick.
I think she's on her phone.
Oh, okay.
Maybe, unless they made it home. That'd be crazy. No, they could.
Thank you so much, Howard, for saying so.
Bye, Fueled by Green. Thanks for being here.
I'm glad you guys know life in a bus.
Yeah,
I think you just said it out.
I've noticed a grinder in videos. Do you guys smoke? I do, and I'm worried about it in bus life. I don't know if I should ask or if you can answer, but I don't want to have to quite because laws. I mean, here's what we're gonna say. We live in Colorado, so it's sort of part of the culture here. So it's not really something I think about too much. But when I lived in Florida, I remember how weird it was that it was like
we traveled the country. Illegal. You know that we used to. If you watch some of our older videos, we used to have a mason jars that held sativa and indicas, and they were totally clear and filled up with buds. And it was, you know, we weren't trying to hide it from anybody. And then when we went on West Coast Wandering, as soon as we entered a state that was illegal, we had to take that down. We had to tuck it away. We weren't going to throw our weed away because that's just crazy.
Yeah.
But, you know, we had to be very discreet. You know, we weren't smoking in places where people could walk by and smell it or anything like that. And Colorado, come to Colorado. It sounds like the state for you.
Yeah, it's not really, we're still considerate of like what the rules and regulations are in terms of public places, but we're not ever in public places really. Not like right now we're parked in like a back parking lot.
Literally 2 hours ago, I was sitting here and I watched a guy sit right in front of me on the parking curb and smoke a joint and look at the bus and take a picture of it on a cell phone.
Oh, well, there you go.
So Boulder especially is a different kind of place, but Colorado is very just like, Whatever.
Aiden, in your opinion, should I buy a minibus or a van for 2 people? I would say, do you have any animals, Aiden? If you don't, are you planning on traveling full time, or are you planning on living in your bus in a town working there? If you are planning on traveling full time, I would say go with a van if you don't have any animals, because there's probably going to want to be some off-roading or some locations you want to go to if you're just trying to go for the most awesome view. And being in a van is going to be much easier to travel. If you've seen our limitations video in the bus, we've talked about how there have been some beauty places we wanted to go to that like the bus just could not make it to. And that sucked. But
yeah,
we have 2 cats and we prefer the space.
We want to do van life eventually. We want to do all of it eventually.
We want to try it all.
It's applicable, so to speak. Right now, this is applicable because we have 2 cats and we want the space. When we want to be discreet and we want to travel and put more miles under our belt, we're going to go van life.
Exactly.
When we want to settle down, we're going to do shipping container home. Mm-hmm. Like we have these ideas for the different parts of our life. Yeah, exactly. Stick around because we're not stopping living Zeal until we're old and gray and can't hold a camera anymore.
Exactly. Traveling full time for a year across Canada with my friend and a dog. I don't know what to pick. Oh well. Boy, you have a dog.
Don't pick a Sprinter van. I'll be frank. With any of you doing van conversions, I've seen. So her parents own a Sprinter van and they just spent like $2,800 fixing it or something like that. I might be quoting wrong, Judy. Sorry, but it's incredibly expensive to fix. I've seen from that.
And they seem to break down a lot.
Eamon and Beck and Minimal Millennials both have Sprinter vans, and we've witnessed Eamon and Beck spend $12,000 when building a new engine. Minimal Millennials just spent like $6,000, $7,000, and now Eamon and Beck's broke down again.
They need to get something fixed.
And they need to get something fixed again. Fact of the matter is, sure, the bus isn't in the best of shape, but we've made it work without having to spend $12,000.
This engine's a beast, and somebody asked what our
turbo diesel. Yeah, we have a 7.3 liter international turbo diesel. I believe it's a Ford International. It is a beast. 220,000 miles, so it's just barely broken in. The engine's gonna outlast the frame by a long shot. So we'll have to figure out a way to use this engine while it's still stationary because it'll be good. So why not? Hey, Chad, did you say that you smoke cigarettes and you don't? How do you feel now? Sorry, the computer's so far away.
I'll read it to you. Hey, Chad, you did say that you smoke cigarettes and now you don't. How do you feel now? I used to smoke, but I had to quit, and I feel a lot better now.
Yeah, I feel a lot better now, too. Definitely. You know, the night that Zane and I hit it off and, like, our relationship really started wasn't a weird night where I had this, sorry, guys, rolling by very slowly, where I had this long talk with everybody around the campfire about how every smoker secretly wants to have a reason to quit. And a lot of people, it's kids. a lot of people are like, as soon as I have kids, I'm going to quit. That was what it was for me.
Quit smoking cigarettes?
Yeah. When I have kids, I'm going to quit. Whenever this happens, I'm going to quit. Whenever this happens. And it was when I met Zaina, combined with, I've said this before on our live chat, so I'm just, hopefully there's a bunch of new people in here. It was when I met Zaina, combined with the song by Sylvan Esso called Die Young, which like the catch line is, I was going to die young, but now I have to wait for you. And like that song came out right when we started dating. And I heard that while I was smoking a cigarette, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks. Like nothing, no lyrics ever resonated with me more. Nothing ever hit me harder. So I quit smoking right then and there. And I feel much, much better just knowing that I've secured my future in that way. Like you don't know what's ever going to happen to you, but
know that you're not actively,
you're not actively hurting yourself. Anyway.
Need your thoughts. I'm looking at a short bus tomorrow. Is there any few things that I should definitely look at on the bus before purchasing it? I would say look at the rust on the bottom of the bus.
Look at the bus in general and see if it looks like, this is kind of a hard thing to describe, but see if it looks like a lot of oil or fluids have been dripped around the bus and dried. Like one thing I look for is, because that means it's had leaks that people have tried to temporarily fix or something's gone wrong. If it looks like it's been caked in something at some point, oil's been everywhere, fuel's been everywhere, transmission fuel's been everywhere. Like,
just pop the engine and take a peek at how things look. Look at the fuel filter, the radiator. Like, just take a peek to see the condition things look in.
Start it up and ask them the last time it was started.
Also, look at and see if there's any smoke what the color of the smoke is that comes out of the exhaust.
Kind of getting to, because you won't see unless it's been sitting for a couple of days if something's actually wrong. And people who own diesels know that, because if they're trying to sell it, they probably started it and let it ran right before you got there.
If they're shisty.
They're trying to just sell it and something's actually wrong with it. I mean, even if we're trying to sell our bus, I would start it before someone got here, because if it sits for 2 or 3 days, a little puff of white smoke, comes out the back.
But it still runs the same.
It still runs fine, but exactly. I mean, just ask them, and some things it's really, really hard to tell. If you can get a mechanic to come with you, get a mechanic to come with you.
Okay, cool comment. P.S. I read Celestine's Vision, Living the New Spiritual Awareness, based on your thoughts on that book. I haven't read that book yet. I'm actually right now on, it's right over there, the 10th Insight on Celestine Prophecy, and I have literally read like 10 pages.
Been creeping along because I've just been so busy. We hung the hammocks and tried to read, and I think we started talking.
We read for like 15 minutes. Aiden, so would you say that a cargo van probably is the best option for a camper van? I'm 17, by the way, so I still have a year to decide.
You know, we have a video, and it's notoriously hated because I recorded it on a cell phone before we were ever together. And it's where I did a conversion of a cargo van, step van. And I did a USPS mail truck. And I still would love to do that. I think that'd be so cool to find one that runs really well, so you can kind of hop up into the mountains. That's better. It's kind of bridges the gap between van life and bus life.
Absolutely.
Would be cargo van life. So yeah, I think there's some really cool ones. If you want to check out ours, I didn't do a great job on it. It was more like practice for the bus, but it's something. I did do Victorian doors on the back, French doors on the back that open up. It would have
been really cool.
That would have been really cool. But check it out. Yeah, I think that's a great option for discretion and for just livability.
Exactly, I agree. Life in the Slow Lane, what's up?
Either one, box truck or panel van.
Guys, Life in the Slow Lane, new channel, has I think 2 YouTube videos up. If you feel like checking out a new city bus / schoolie / van life bus life channel, then go type in Life in the Slow Lane.
They just put out their 2nd video the other day. We went out and played disc golf.
And go subscribe.
It's pretty cute.
Diesel engine or gasoline?
Diesel. I'll explain why I'll get real boring for a second, but
not too long.
Okay, not too long. Diesel's engine runs at a lower RPM, which means the engine has to work a lot less and they produce more torque. less horsepower, but more torque. Torque is what you need to get that pulling power, that initial. So like think about torque as like throwing something over your shoulder and having the power to pull it like that. That's a diesel engine. As to where a gasoline engine, you get horsepower, which is if you held it at your waist and tried to just jerk it. You're going to get more pull power if you throw it over your shoulder. And that's literally just came up with that, pulled it out of my butt. But that's the best analogy I can give you for diesel, is you just get so much more torque and it uses, and it doesn't strain the engine nearly as much to pull heavy things because of that, because it runs at a lower RPM. So diesels are the best way to go if you're going to be weighing them down and driving them all over the place. That's why 99.9% of school buses are diesels, because the government pays for that, and they want to have the best, safest thing to haul kids around in that's going to last forever. Diesel is really the way to go for heavy weight. Gasoline, you'll
also
have so many
less
problems.
breakdowns.
Mm-hmm. Well, it doesn't strain the engine as much. Gasoline engines, if you go look at any car, you know, the tachometer shows you the revolutions per minute. It redlines usually at like no more than 6,000 or 7,000 RPMs, unless you have like a Honda or something. Ours redlines at 3,500 RPMs. So it runs literally half as hard. That means the revolutions per minute. So it runs half as hard and has the pulling power. Doesn't have the horsepower.
Mercedes says, no, I think that was helpful. I think people like that. Michael said he liked a good explanation.
All right, good.
Love you guys. Boyfriend and I are looking for our perfect bus, hopefully hitting the road next year. We love watching your videos. So helpful. Keep up the awesomeness. Thank you for your super sweet comment. I really appreciate that, Mercedes. I'm so glad you are part of our Living Zeal family.
Thank you.
I'm watching your videos.
But isn't it harder to repair a diesel if there's engine problems?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're a little more sealed, and they get goopier. They're
labor costs.
They're actually made to run dirtier, meaning that diesel fuel has a lot more gunk in it. So the engines, you don't have to get the oil change, for example, like you do in a regular engine, 3,000 miles. Diesel, it's like 10,000 miles. But yeah, I'm a little intimidated by them because it's something I'm not used to working on. But it's been really cool learning about diesel. And we have a turbo diesel, which is really the way to go. I mean, look at Volkswagen, for example. Volkswagen, brilliant car makers, and 90% of their cars now are turbo diesels because they know it saves gasoline and it's a decent way to get the power you need. You're not going to get a ton of power, but they're good on gas mileage.
Yep.
Stop talking.
Yep.
All right, let's see.
I'm not going to lie, people, I'm starting to fade.
Yeah, I'm losing her 'cause I'm talking about engines.
Well, that's true. Also, I have a kitten over here who's being like
being
insane.
super cute.
She's being so cute.
Yeah.
Well, what else, babe?
I don't know, babe. Somehow it's getting hotter in here.
Yes.
Yeah, our bus is what did he say? 4 gallons or 7 gallons? 4 gallons. It was 4 gallons. What did it say to use? An oil change in our bus was 30 quarts. Yeah, that's a bit of an issue. But
that's crazy.
Yeah, that was a big. When I was doing my conversion, one thing I was looking into with like the transit buses, like the Ford E line, and I quickly, after reading just a few reviews, found out that that's not the way to go. Like the E line, apparently they're non-diesels and they break down. They're underpowered from the start. So stay away from doing any of like the shuttle bus conversions and stuff like that.
Yes, Ashley, the weather in Colorado is great. I think it's like some 300 days of sunshine in Colorado. So the weather here is lovely.
Let's see. So you play online gaming with PS4, Xbox One, Zach? I am a PC gamer and I have a Steam account, but our internet's so terrible that I just play whenever I get the opportunity and want to wind down. So I'm playing Borderlands lately again. All right, what was the other one?
I was just kitten clawed and that freaking hurt.
Noticing the vegan shirt.
Yeah.
You all right, babe?
Yeah, that hurt.
So Zaina's a vegan. Zaina's a hardcore, full-fledged vegan. And I don't want to say hardcore.
Hardcore and full-fledged.
Because she's really not. She's hardcore in the way that you. Oh, wow. She drew blood. The way that she loves animals. But she's not hardcore in the way that she's going to push it on other people and judge and be obnoxious about it. Like, she's actually a really cool vegan. Coolest vegan I've ever met. So.
Oh my god.
I, however, because she's a cool vegan, she's inspired me to eat much, much less meat, and kind of take note of how I feel and take note of what the earth gives us just right off the bat, and some of the awesome benefits from that. So I think there's a lot to be said for not being a pushy, judgmental vegan and just sitting back and letting your actions be the example.
I agree. Thanks, baby.
Yeah, baby.
I am coming up on 6 years being vegan. Not quite there, but almost. Yeah, it's been great. I think that I've learned a lot about, sorry, my hair looks real crazy right now, but that's okay. I've learned a lot about how not to be a vegan to people and how it's really actually does the exact opposite. When you push someone to do something, it literally does the exact opposite. So I just try to live my life, and like, I remember I've always been someone who, I don't do it at the buff for some reason because I just don't, but I always have been someone when I go into work to bring like lots of fruit with me, which always sparks a conversation of like, why are you eating so much fruit? And then it opens up the door for people to want to ask me questions about veganism because they see the way that I'm eating a little differently. So yeah. Yes. I'm also trying to limit my meat intake, and wow, 6 years. Congrats. Thank you so much. Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with limiting it a little bit. You know, making it, once you once you limit it and make it a special occasion, then it becomes more of a thing, and you notice yourself being a glutton with it, and then you start to sort of, you feel it without even anyone making you feel it. You just start to feel it, and then the perspective just kind of smacks you in the face a little bit, and it's a good thing. That's happened to me a couple times now, and it is what it is. Like, you know, I was starving earlier a couple hours ago, and there was nothing to really eat quickly, so I just had to grab a deli sandwich, and that was my immediate thought, was the meat. Like,
can I tell you something so weird? I was reading the ingredients in that because I went to go throw it away, recycle it, and it had caramel color dyed into the ham to make it Black Forest ham. They dyed the ham. How freaking bizarre is that? Not that they don't do that to fruit too, but it's weird. Isn't that gross? Yeah, I'm like, what
secret
the hell?
ingredient. If you're wondering, it's caramel color.
Yeah, caramel color. Yeah, because it looked so beautiful, and yeah.
That'll do it too. If you start paying attention to your ingredients,
you're like, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
Need to make you guys some squash tacos. Just made them last night for a friend from work is harvesting a bunch of zucchini.
Sounds good.
Hell yeah, that sounds great. Squash tacos. That sounds amazing.
We have a cat trying to
I saw someone who roasted a watermelon. When they cut it, it looked like a freaking steak.
Roasted a watermelon?
They claimed it tasted awesome. I'm sure.
Roasted a watermelon?
Yeah, I actually worked at this restaurant where they did watermelon skewers, and they roasted 2 sides of it, and it was delicious. I don't know if it tasted anything like that.
How do you burn water?
It's the fiber. It literally makes grill marks and stuff. And you eat it, and it like has that charred outside, but then it has that. To me. It's like almost has that like rare taste on the inside when you bite into it.
Witchcraft.
Yeah, it sounds pretty awesome. Anyway, what's gross is the carcinogenic spray to kill bacteria that kills you. Don't eat scavengers. Yeah, I don't know exactly what scavengers entail, but. Anyway, we are just coasting on an hour of this live stream.
It always goes by so fast.
It does.
I don't know. For you guys, it probably doesn't. But
I have blood dripping down my finger.
So fast for us.
We don't have any paper towels.
We need to go get paper towels.
Yes, I was playing with my cat, and I got the crappy end of the stick there because I got fingered from her. It hurts. Anyway, well, should we hit it? Should we hit it?
I think so. I think we're going to call it now. I think we let like 10 seconds of awkward silence not be our cue for when it's time to end the video. Nobody comments for 10 seconds. And then we're like, okay. It's like a bad interview. I hate when they ask if you have a question. I'm just going to let every person who's ever done an interview, I hate that because you feel like you have to come up with a question. Yeah, I know what you mean. Anyway, I will let you guys know a little insight on Chad and I. We've talked about it in the other videos, but we are going to go watch The Office after this and then go to bed by like 8:30. Yeah. there was a couple of, I know
So-
there's a lot of new people in here, and I know a lot of people didn't catch the beginning of this. I want to catch up to speed real quick, because a couple of questions were thrown out there
Okay.
about Hawaii and stuff. Zane and I are both working full-time at the exact same job. She got it like a month and a half ago, and I just got it, so I'm just now starting. So our life is kind of crazy right now, but the goal is to move to Hawaii in 2019, or as soon as we can save the
Beginning
money.
of 2019.
Yep.
It's actually not as soon as we can save the money. It's as soon as the cats are ready to go. So we're thinking end of January, beginning of February is when the cats will be good to go.
Good to go.
And then we'll be good to go.
And we're also going to be taking a really, really cool vacation adventure before that, which we're going to let you guys know about shortly.
We'll let you know all the details. We're going to be traveling very, very differently. We're not going to be traveling in the bus, but we're still going to be traveling alternatively. And yeah, we're going to let you guys know. There's so many of you guys I keep saying you guys. So many of you guys on the East Coast that we're really excited to see. We want to do a bunch of meetups while we're doing that. We don't know how long the trip will be, maybe a couple weeks. And then when we come back, we have no idea what we're doing for November, December, January. So
We're gonna go
do you have
where
any
it's warm.
recommendations? Yeah, we're not doing winter in the bus again. Let me just tell you right now.
Yeah.
That wasn't fun. We're not doing that again.
All right, guys. So we'll definitely be hitting up. We'll be hitting up Michael for sure. And when we're in Texas, we were going to stop by Waco also and say hi to.
Woo! Chip and Joanna,
Chip and
we're
Joanna.
like,
Yeah, we're fanboys.
I was going to say, yeah. But that doesn't make us
All right,
sound too
guys.
hipster. That's
Well,
very
we
mainstream.
got to go to bed because she has to go to work bright and early. And I
6
got to
o'clock
work on some
midnight.
Living Zeal stuff because I'm going to get a video out to you guys either tonight or tomorrow.
We're going to try to
So
get
look
it out
forward
tonight.
to that. I'm going to try and get it out tonight.
Bye.
See you guys.
Super long outro.